Now then, welcome back to another brewing day with Doorstep Brewing. Me. Unfortunately, it's been like a year since I last put a video out, pretty much, because life just got incredibly busy. However, I am back with a purpose today because I've been sent some CF302 hops. Yeah, what a catchy name. Basically, a brand new British hop from growers in partnership with Charles Faram. So I've got a little bit of notes on here. The Malt Miller basically went on a visit to Faram's in 2023. They had the privilege to see numerous new experimental hop varieties, of which CF302 was one of them. They did do a video, so I will put a link in the description to the video on the visit to Charles Faram. So yeah, one of the hops that they were shown on the visit was CF302. The yield was only 13 kilos, and it was being dried in their bespoke batch kiln. From this, a percentage was sent to be pelletized, and only 3 kilo of pellets were produced, so extremely rare at the moment. The team from Faram's have offered Malt Miller some pellets, and they only got a chance to get hold of 1 kilo of them for evaluation. So they've sent, obviously, to various homebrewers around the country, and I'm sure we'll all be doing something extremely different with them. My take is going to be a hoppy West Coast style pils, because the aromas on them, when I had a good rub with a friend of mine up in Penistone, was like, we got green pepper, mosaic, well, it was a mosaic on the aroma. You got a load, when you gave them a good rub, you got orange. I got like green pepper skins, almost akin to a little bit like Equinox. So yeah, I just thought West Coast Pilsner, use them in the boil because we've only got a small amount. Really sort of get that sort of fruity vibe through, but also the bitterness from the boil. So I'm putting them in at flame out, but along with Harlequin, Jester, and obviously doing a base of spalt at the very start, just to keep it that West Coast Pilsner style. And fermenting out with Hessian Pils. The malt choices are Weyermann Eraclea malt, which is from the Adriatic Sea, so they use it for Italian Pils and other things such along those lines, I believe. But it's quite an aromatic malt, quite sweet apparently. Never used it myself, so it'll be interesting to see what it brings. Along with a little bit of chip malt and some carapils. So yeah, mashing in at 65C, so get a nice dry base for Hessian Pils to take a nice crisp, clean hold of. So yeah, not really much more to say. I'm not going to do too much footage in the brew day, because obviously it's like a broken record, you know, it just keeps going round and round, but no one's really getting anything from it. So yeah, hoping to be back doing a few more videos later on in the year, but it's just as time permits. But as with everything, thank you for watching. So enjoy the brew day. It's got a nice little bit of Eraclea malt, which I believe is an Adriatic Italian malt, meant to be for crisp, quite sweet. So I thought it'd be a great base for the West Coast Pils. Along with a bit of chip malt and carapils and a little bit of acidulated in order to bring the pH to about a manageable level for my water style around here, which is good old-fashioned Yorkshire water. Yeah, so mashing in, underletting on this one. You see, it's nice and absorbed. Mashing in at 65 today for a nice dry base. Hopefully really get that crispiness through. Nice. Love the smell of doughing in. Beautiful. We are bang on 65. So 72-degree mash water in. It's quite a mild day because obviously I always talk about the weather. Typical British thing to do, because majority of the time we always have crap weather. Let's not the camera there, darling. Don't want to be any dough balls either. Very nice. Start running the work through. Drop it into the kettle. Switch of the valve. That's great, David. There we go. Beautiful colour. Look at that. Beautiful. Of course, when brewing some beer, you got to drink a beer. In this case, nice little Czech Pils that I did probably about 4 weeks ago. Off a side pull tap, of course. Perfect head, perfect foam. Foam is flavour, year of the lager. So obviously we find ourselves back outside now after pouring on the inside. So it's a Czech lager, which I did after looking probably about a month and a half ago. It's been in keg for about 2 weeks now, so it's still very, very fresh. I know mine Rake will have a pop at me, and maybe Radim will have a pop at me for not doing 90 days lagering yet, but I like to do, because I do big batches and I do 3 kegs worth, I like to drink a keg fresh, a keg in the middle, and a keg at the end. So you get all 3 stages of a lager's life, which of course there is a big life span involved in a lager. So yeah, it was a Czech Pils, decocted. I had a tiny bit of chip malt, as I mentioned earlier on this Brewday, for the one inside, because I find it just adds a little bit of sort of extra foam retention, and of course foam is flavour. So yeah, all SARS. I mash topped with this one because the latest SARS leaf hops are only about 2.18% alpha acid, so I added quite a bit of SARS, I think about 200 grams in the mash, just to add a little bit of bitterness from that raw boiling, and seems to have come through quite nicely. But yeah, drink's delicious. That decoction just adds those caramel notes, sweetness, body. Just, yeah, just nothing beats it for me. But each to their own, I suppose. Some people think lager's boring, but you know, it's the great spectrum of life. So there we go, that's a final flame out edition of Flash Ultimate Kitchen, Jester, CF302, and Harlequin. CF185 is going to be a flame out edition. These are all going to be for 60 minutes steep. They just look and smell absolutely ridiculous. Pretty banging. State of them. They're almost like weed, and colour of them is awesome. It's flame out or switch off time, whatever you want to use. I mean, technically we're not on gas. But yeah, there we go, 100 grams of that. CF185. Oh, they're almost kind of interesting. Get kind of. Honestly, these kind of just stunk of petrol, but sort of get sage and oh man, they're pretty fit. It's a shame they're discontinued, but there we go. So here we go. Got 100 grams of CF302. 20 grams of Harlequin and 30 grams of Jester, I think. Especially whatever's left from the boil of the hops. 80-degree hop stand. In they go. Shovel full of hops. So basically start the timer. And we'll go from there. Just gently stirring now to get a uniform temperature. We're doing a hop steep for 60 minutes. With Harlequin, Jester and the CF302. Get it down to 80 degrees, so we've got a uniform temp. Got really high hopes for this one. It'll be really fruity, aromatic. Excited to see what that CF302 brings to the party. Either way, it smells insane, so yeah, so good. And like I said at the start of the video, the rubbings off those CF302s just absolutely stink. You kind of get that mosaic vibe from them. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what it actually sort of smells like, because obviously those 185s smelled very interesting. But anyway, I'm sure this is not very great viewing, just watching stuff spin. So, we're back in the garden with another beer. This one was brewed, got to be coming up to a month and a half before the Czech Pils. I think this was just still in tank, I think. But it's a Brew 1 Citra and Mosaic New England IPA, 7.6%. Absolutely stinks of pineapple cubes. Fermented with barbarian yeast, 20% malted oats from the Malt Miller. Golden Promise as a base. It started out as a pale ale, and as we were getting to the bottom of the barrel of my pale ale, the bottom of the barrel of the Golden Promise, realised that there wasn't much left, so we decided balls to it and whacked it all in. So then we ended up with 7.6%. Up the hops. It is chewy as buggery, but it is an absolute juice bomb. It's kept its haze. This was also a bit of a trial for me. We're using some different mash techniques in terms of using vitamin C powder. Insane. It's kept its haze, it's kept its fruit. It's, like I say, it's a month and a half on, and it still stinks. It's banging. But it does not taste 7.6%. It's insane. So good. Cheers. It's an almost late finish brew day here. But what a beautiful evening. Sun is setting on another day. Almost poetic, really. A rather thirsty 15 degrees in the tank. And a beautiful protein split. Look at that, it's almost mesmerising. Oh yeah, come on. Hi. Gravity sample time. See what it's come out as. So there we go. Yeast pitch, Hessian Pils. Used this quite a few times now in previous brews over the past 7-8 years. Quality yeast, really good, crisp, clean. I think it'll really suit this beer. So a nice cold fermentation for 2 weeks. From I think 12C I'm going to set it at. It's so yeah, I think it'll be pretty good. So we'll see how it turns out. When people still ask me about using brew tools, this is the reason why. It's a frigging dream to clean up. Once you get that initial hot blockage out, banging. Just let it all drain. Now then, so what's my overall opinion of CF302 from brewing with it today? It's banging. We often get a stigma associated with English hops that they're muddy, twiggy, to quote a phrase from Dave Unpronounceable of Steel City Brewing in Sheffield. And he's right, they are very traditional, they're earthy, and they have their place, especially in traditional English bitters of lineage and heritage. But people want flavour, and with flavour comes obviously the development of different hops. So to see England producing fruity, vibrant, dank hops is quite mind-blowing. As I sit here with my Citra and Brew 1 beer, it's good to see that we'll start getting some homegrown hops that are like that. But yeah, the aromas in the Whirlpool were absolutely ridiculous. It was fruity, it was definitely akin to Mosaic. Now, obviously on the initial rubs, like I said at the very start of the video, I got green pepper on the, also green pepper skins. They're almost like they were going to be a little bit spicy, but the aroma that was given off with Jester and Harlequin was just absolutely just fruit punch vibes. Really good. Quite excited to see what they give in a West Coast vibe, and obviously they were a steep hop, but the flavour associated with them I think will translate really well with a clean fermentation base that you get from Pilsner, and obviously with the current rise of a West Coast style Pilsner, so obviously German noble hops for bittering, and then everything else back end either usually American or in this case all British. It'd be really interesting to see what the basis is. Chose Hessian Pils, which obviously I mentioned as well. Use this yeast quite a few times, and it's a really clean fermenter. The yeast starter did smell quite sulphuric, to be fair, so it might need a good couple of weeks of maturing. But yeah, I've got high hopes for it. Yet again, by the way, this is not a paid video. I will reiterate that. Charles Faram sent the Malt Miller a kilo to send out to homebrewers to evaluate, and was very fortunate to be one of the selected few that got these hops. So I felt not inclined to make a video, but I think it's good to get the idea of what's coming in 2024, 25, I think. Yeah, 2025. But it's interesting to see what's coming. I think England might have quite a few cards up its sleeves in terms of breeding programmes. But yeah, it's been a good day. See what the fermentation brings. And of course, I'll do a follow-up video with a taster, and we'll see how we get on. But cheers!